Brodes Media.
Doc Rivers, out of town. I'm not surprised. He wasn't fantastic down the stretch in Game 6. He wasn't very good in Game 7. He was third on my list of problems in Game 7, Joel Embiid and James Harden being the 1 and 2. But I thought it was deserved with the concept of you're changing the direction you're going into. You're looking for a facelift. You're trying something new. You need a new voice. Basketball-wise, looking at the entire year, I don't think Doc did a poor job. I think at times he showed you why he gets the respect around the league. I think he did a lot of solid things. But when you fail to get over the second round hump, then it's basically inevitable. I don't think the Sixers picked James Harden over Doc Rivers. I think it's two separate situations. I don't know where Daryl Morey goes from here with James Harden. And I am worried about a big deal and bringing him back because I just went through the experience of Tobias Harris, which is the guy's getting paid a lot of money, overpaid, which limits what you can do with your roster. So if we get James Harden for multiple years down the road and he's already half fried, what am I going to expect? A limited roster once again. And a very inconsistent James Harden who can pop a 40-burger and get you 45 and win you a game without your MVP on the road to make a statement in a series, but then look like he forgot how to play basketball 2 days later. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't blame the Sixers for doing this. I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, Daryl Morey's name was brought up already. I know that some Sixers fans want him out of town too. I have no problem with Daryl Morey pushing the buttons here. I'm not telling you the leash is forever. If this goes south and the next moves that he makes look pathetic, I'm open to conversation. Right now, though, there's no reason to be screaming for him, in my opinion. The main issue right now is Joel Embiid isn't where we thought he was in big moments. That's what it was. You know, I got friends of mine reaching out all day. What went wrong? What needs to change? Embiid's out of shape. Embiid needs to be in the low block more. If you watch this team play, and if you saw Joel Embiid with his back against the in the post more, back against the basket more, that's not the difference in this team winning a championship. You need Embiid plus more. You need Embiid to grow and attack those moments differently. And I hope to God that that's something you could teach and instill in him with a new coach. Half of me is afraid because I think you either have it or you don't. Just like with the point guard position, either you're a natural born point guard or not. You have that within. Tatum has it. I don't know if Embiid does, but I know he's got the skill level that any NBA player dreams of. So that's the start. But we have to continue to grind. And he needs to continue to go to work and prepare himself mentally to close out games. Embiid's here. We're not shipping Embiid out of town. I am pissed, and I'm very disappointed in him. He didn't show up. And I always thought the Sixers had a chance to win because at any given point, he can carry you to the promised land on that night. And then I found out maybe he can't. Maybe he can't yet, or maybe he can't. I don't know. But his skill level is so high that you have to roll the dice. and try again to make him realize what you do throughout 82 games, it is what it is. At this point, you won an MVP and you got to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You have to do more in the playoffs. And whether he believes in this franchise or not, until he demands a trade and storms into Daryl Morey's office, I'm under the assumption that he's willing to ride it out here until proven otherwise. The roster and Joel Embiid. That's what you need to focus on more than one of these selections. Because all of these selections can do a nice job. The Boston Celtics won Game 7 because Jason Tatum. They didn't win because Joe Mazzulla. They didn't win because Al Horford. They won because their star wasn't going to be denied. If Embiid doesn't elevate himself and work on closeout, and he closed games out in the regular season, but double bigs, taking away your personal space, the moment being bigger, all that applies. And if you can't do it there, then it doesn't matter who your coach is. I hope to God that they look in the mirror and recognize that we got our coach fired. Apparently, James Harden and Doc didn't have the best relationship, whatever. That doesn't tell me about Doc Rivers. Because I think Joel Embiid liked Doc Rivers a lot. The dude led the league in scoring 2 years in a row. It's not the same league, though, as MLB, as baseball is. Because when Joe Girardi got fired, the team took it personal. I don't know if in the NBA they're going to take it personal. James Harden probably doesn't even think he did anything wrong, which is a problem. But he's just worried about doing his thing tonight, tomorrow night, the following night. At this point, I think he cares about basketball, but I'm saying he goes, I'm a fantastic player. I'm one of the best ever, and I'll get a shot next year. Whether I do a sign and trade, whether I go to Houston. In a perfect world, go get me Dame. I think it's too much of a reach at this time for me to really hold my hat on it. What I think makes, unfortunately, the most logical sense is Harden returns, but not on like a max in 4 years. Not that craziness. But you have Harden, you have Maxey, you have Tucker, you have Embiid. You trade Tobias Harris, and you get a new coach. And maybe you maximize Maxey differently, you play this differently, but that's what I think makes the most sense for me as we sit here on this day.